Hello, I am the Reading Rainbow Emperor, and today I'm going to be talking about the danger of meddlesome fox spirit, Senko-san. Uh, One might say that I, a degenerate among imperial degenerates, would love things like a monster girl pampering me, and I do, but I recognize a danger to it. It's free, and it's clean. Now, that might be a strange thing to say. What's wrong with free? It doesn't cost you anything. You don't suffer for it, it's just given to you. No effort from your muscles, no clever wit, no money, no display of prestige. It's free. You see, that's a problem. It's free. You didn't earn it. It was just given to you. You won't appreciate it. It's not to the spirit of man to appreciate free things. You might think that this is a weird thing to say, but it is rooted in human psychology. You care more about the 25 cents in your paycheck than you will the 25 cents on the ground. You'll still pick it up because money is worth it. Uh, but you won't spend brain power on it. You won't spend your time on it beyond picking it up. Hard work. Give things value. It's the same way with other things in life beyond money. Children are a terrible drain on their parents. Managers who can't control or set standards for their employees will get stomped on. The nice are taken advantage of by the psychopathic cunning. And having a fox maiden show up to fix the life of somebody who isn't working their bollocks already won't mean much. There's a motivational problem inherent to the system. It's the reason why their life is garbage, and it's why nothing's there to fix it. They won't hit the gym or eat right or just eat less crappily. Life changes require inward motivation. It is not so easy to say, I will do X, and I will do it in my own time. You must, of course, do X. And X is things like embracing the iron, and the iron embraces you. Free weights, working hard, sweating. Many people can change their own lives. They choose not to. And dreaming of these sort of things doesn't quite help. In fact, it hinders it. It creates psychological blocks to desire that change. I've heard the YouTuber Boogie has lost absolute tons of weight. Good on the lad. But there's still a video in existence of him mixing Doritos and Mountain Dew together into some sort of arcane gamer shake. Though I assume that video is parody. But if it's not a joke, he made a life change. He lost that weight. He no longer sucks down Mountain Dew and Doritos, though I am ashamed to say I have lost weight on Mountain Dew and Doritos, though that is because I was eating very little at the time and happened to have some Mountain Dew and Doritos. Life's weird like that. I work at a gym, and at some point, every man and woman in that gym decided they wanted to hit the gym. They chose to embrace the iron. They will appreciate their gains and struggles. They wanted it more badly than they wanted Doritos and Mountain Dew. Every time they rack up more weight or lose a belt loop, it will be a celebration, and some of them have many belt loops to lose. On the other hand, I've seen things from my 600-pound life, which is hilarious when you apply tubas to it, unfortunately. Or people who have done like where they cut off a piece of their stomach and wrap it off, lap bands, all kinds of things. They do these things, and it doesn't actually fix their problem because their internal problem hasn't been fixed. I have a friend who says that he doesn't like Senko-san or the idea of her show because he doesn't want a fox maiden to pamper him like I kind of do, and I do very much. Except my tastes are more Gyaru than fox maiden. Uh, because he would rather have somebody kicking in his door and saying, "Move your ass, you lazy bastard," which is also kind of what I need, but I'm His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of the Reading Rainbow. I can't. Nope. Uh, Now, Senko-san there's sort of like another layer to it more than just motivation. Senko-san basically comes in and becomes the main character's wife. Now, she isn't his wife, married, but acts in that capacity. She greets him when he returns, in the Japanese sense, of course. She greets him when he returns. She makes him food. She gives him little signs of love that can only be done by somebody who has their best interests at heart. It's a strange thing because it changes people. Just knowing that there's someone out there to help you, to take care of you as you take care of them, it's pretty awesome. Even if it's somebody that can just share your interests, it's such a delight. Someone showing interest in you is pretty amazing. It feels even better when you go out and meet somebody new, and start up a relationship. Um, Honestly, that's where I've had the best luck, just meeting random people and just talking to them. See, the struggle to talk to people yields the rewards. Relationships just don't fall into your lap, if you get me. They're kind of messy. It's two people with their needs, realized or not, and the expectations that come from having an organic personality. Um, I don't talk for like outside these videos to people. Uh, some people just can't take that sort of silence, or I've seen people who talk all the time, and it's frustrating to me. Um, there's also things like cleanliness and personal interactions. Did you know that women's restrooms are like 9 tenths, all 9 out of 10, always dirtier than the men's restroom? Every place I've ever worked at has had that sort of problems. Like bloody handprints on the walls, bad. And I'm only half joking about that. All it needs is a flickering light and childlike laughter, and we're good. I'll get to the point. Senko-san doesn't have those problems. Not at all. She comes in, she pampers, and there are no downsides. No, I'm sure he has to go out and work and stuff. That's the only reason it turns out any sort of decent. If he didn't have to work, I wouldn't think the show would be worth anything. But when she goes, "Are you not satisfied with your wife and mother?" it gets a little weird. Because I don't really want a wife and mother, I want a wife and companion, which is different. I already have a mother, and even if she passes away, there's not going to be anything that can replace her or her role in my life. It's a separate issue. Wives and mothers are separate by design. See, the fantasy's getting weird. Might be like Emperor, your Imperial Majesty. It's fantasy. It's not reality. But the thing is that the fantasies derive what we want, define, excuse me, what we want from our realities. And what if we have no idea what we really want for reality, or we are in denial of it? Therefore, it stands to reason that something replaces it, because we do not, as humans, operate from the idea of void. There's no true nihilists who don't immediately kill themselves once they reach that state in philosophy. Human mentality is malleable, after all, and it changes based on what surrounds us. We see an advertisement and we want the product. Of course, that mostly applies to normies. People with internal monologues are harder to fool. How do we get to them? How do we appeal? Sex, clearly. It's not like they're getting any. Incelism does lead to mental illness and repeating behaviors. I'll actually be linking a video about that below. They're also mostly porn addicted, or have been. And it leads to sort of a warping of desire. It's no longer about seeking that companionship. It's about fulfilling your base sexual needs with what you desire. But what are we missing? What is that magic sauce? Culture. See, consider that these people must participate in certain media to chat with their peers at any sort of level. In other words, anime. Now, they're smart boys, probably too smart. How do you modify behavior? Non-obvious behavioral cues of Senko-san, of what she says and how she does it, sparking those desires. It's like, what's that meme? Men only want one thing and it's fucking disgusting. And it's a picture of a family. Um, in the suburbs, having a barbecue. Ooh, those evil men. Ooh, with their, suburban living and, well brought up children. Um, It's strategy over tactics. The goal is a full cognitive scrubbing. Now, I'm not saying that this is any conscious effort by humans or the author or whatever. They are trying to sell you on the story, or the art, or the characters, or whatever flavor of the day that is popular. Um, and it's not like it's obvious. Like, it's the full picture that modifies behavior, not just one element of it. Senko-san is just the person I can point to say this is such and such. They are presenting a wholesome reality, and but a reality that you don't have to fight for. It just comes. You don't have to win her heart or anything like that. She's just there. And as strange as it is to say, having wish fulfillment of this magnitude is a step too far for me. It grinds away the edges of the tsunderes and yanderes and all that jazz, and until we get to the core of the matter, the desire to be loved. It's not like the love of something imperfect, sometimes having a bad hair day and PMSing like Shiva, but rather something unreal, tailor-made and directed directly to what you want in the most direct way possible. And I wrote that 5 minutes ago. I love it. It's bad for me. It's dangerous. Check it out for yourself. Also, as I was addendum sort of thing, as I was talking about this, I realized that there are tons and tons of parallels to Rey from Evangelion. Evangelion. You see, Asaka. Yeah, that sounds right. The redhead is most popular in the West, whereas Rey is most popular in Japan. And I think that's because she's some sort of ideal woman, wife, mother, mix sort of thing, which is more true than it should be, because that show is messed up. Um, and that probably leads to some really interesting ideas. If the Japanese value this sort of clean, non-dirty, non-dramatic stuff, which also I value. I don't want to say I want to marry someone who's unclean, drama-filled, something like that. That'd be misery for my life. Um, it means that there's certain psychological behaviors that they ask for that they're not getting. I do not believe that people who have it in their lives seek out something that talks about their lives, unless it provides some sort of edge that, say, a sitcom like the Andy Griffith Show does, because it's rural America rather than suburb America. Um, hmm. Honestly, this sort of wish fulfillment. These ideas kind of grow on me the more I think about them, for the simple reason that it goes into so many different subjects. I've just been talking about behavioral psychology for a bit, um, and I'll have an interesting link down below for people who want to research more on it from Aydin Paladin. Um, but honestly, like, I view my purpose as an artist and as a guy who's doing these sort of videos to sort of hit as many of the total pieces as I can in such a way as to provide an interesting perspective. And I think the more you study and look into why people do things and why people like these shows, the more you'll find things to fascinate you, and sort of give you, I want to say, perspectives, but that's not quite right. Grok. That's a word that I could use here. I want you to grok the full picture as best you can, because we don't live in vacuums, and you can't pluck out one aspect of something and then expand it to the rest. I didn't begin talking about wish fulfillment, even though it was about wish fulfillment. I talked about people's behavior outside of it and how it would apply to Senko-san, um, and the show in general. Yeah, I'll probably talk about this again as the show continues, um, just because there's a whole lot of interesting ideas here. It's basically the only show I'm following this season. Faragon was disappointing. Oh well. I want to thank you again for coming along with me and appreciating my ramblings or not appreciating. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share around if you want to. I don't mind. Do check out the link below and my writing mentoring course on Fiverr, which I'm going to revamp this weekend probably. or last weekend. Who knows? Time is weird, and I don't really follow a strict timeline. See ya. You're all wonderful.